Twitter grifters will never cease to amaze me about how they can show that they care about something despite never having cared about it in the first place beforehand, but will continue to engagement farm. It's not just Twitter, it's everywhere. They saw that now, after all these years, that you can now engagement farm and do all this stuff and spark outrage and controversy about this stuff, and it makes you money. Hello everybody, today we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows. A game that is coming out this November 15th, I'm actually pretty sure, and it will be set in feudal Japan, starring a female protagonist and also a male protagonist that is the legendary Japanese figure known as Yasuke. For those that you don't know, and this is going to be clearing up a lot of this, people are mad that Yasuke and a female is going to be in an Assassin's Creed game, despite the fact that Revolutions came out over a decade ago on the PSP. No one ever batted an eye then. No one batted an eye to whenever Ezio canonically passed on his mantle of being an assassin to a woman. By the way, in that scenario, it was another Asian female. It was. I'm pretty sure she was Chinese because of her sword. Or depending on the time period, it could have also been Japanese, but the sword looked very, very early feudal China dynasty's sword. But no one ever complained back then. Even the people that you would think would be complaining now didn't say anything back then, because obviously it was the silent haters that they said. They said it behind people's backs. But they also didn't bat an eye at the fact that for historical accuracy, because people are somehow now care about that in an Assassin's Creed game, for all of these games have been very wrongly historically accurate. Like, Ezio didn't exist. Da Vinci never built a flying machine and actually made it work and had his Italian boyfriend fly it around Venice and everything like that. There is no, the Templars were real and everything like that, but everything in Eden. Are we forgetting that this is also the series that says that man was made not by evolution or by God or anything else, like either side, but an advanced race of aliens that came and colonized Earth and created the artifacts of Eden before they rebelled against them, and that the Pope at one point wanted to rule the world. In this same story, Benjamin Franklin also uses this. Da Vinci uses this. It allows our protagonist, Connor, in 3 to tell George Washington how not to become a monarch dictator. There's been nothing ever about historical accuracies. It was, hey, let's take a cool historical time period, put in a few historical characters, do some cool shit with them, and be the one and only games that is actually willingly to try and tell these stories back in those times. But let's get back to Yasuke, because we've already talked about the female protagonist, right? Awesome. I do think it was a little funny in the trailer. She just gets thrown around a lot. She gets hit once and goes fucking flying. But Yasuke was a real samurai. Hold on, stop typing. I know what you're going to say. But he was a retainer. Retainers are not servants. They are not anything. Let's take an example from, let's say, anime, right? In the show One Piece, there is a character by the name of Odin who has these things called retainers. They are basically his group, right? and they are also identified as samurais. You would not call these guys, who are called retainers, servants. They are fighters. That was the same thing for historical Yasuke and many retainers. They wore armor very similar to samurai. They were given weapons and owned swords. Yasuke owned a sword. That is a big deal in feudal Japan, especially for a black man in fucking Japan, of all places, to have one. He was a very close, I wouldn't say confidant, but he was close to Oda Nobunaga. That's why he was given position of retainer, because retainers are meant to basically, to use a Western idea, they are the right hand. They are, or one of the many hands. They are like the king's guard, right? They ensure that a daimyo stays in power, especially during these feudal periods with different daimyos coming and going and so on. So yes, Yasuke was incredibly important. He also, before anyone says, oh, why are you taking something that the Japanese don't like and putting it in here? The Japanese love Yasuke. He's a part of their history. There have been more. Now, here's the thing. In the West, there have been very few depictions of Yasuke. The first thing was Yasuke in the anime, and everyone wanted it to be kind of like more historical, like period piece. It wasn't. But this is going to be one of those times where we actually get a proper depiction of Yasuke in here in the West. Because over in the East, in Japan, he's all over the place. They have him in so many games. He's my fucking main in Guilty Gear. Nagori Yuki was based off of Yasuke because okay, well, it was something about his leader or master in the game's lore uses a alliteration or like a secondary title that Nobunaga also used. So clearly it was supposed to be an allusion to Yasuke as inspiration. And he's been in so many other things. He's been in manga. He's been in anime. Not very big anime, but he's been in anime. He has been in video games. He has been in a lot of Japanese stuff. The Japanese love depicting Yasuke whenever they do. He has been depicted dozens of times in Japan. This is just one of the first times that he's ever been brought over to the West and actually like popped off and everything. And it's because people want that representation. They enjoy that. They like the idea of this African samurai that was a retainer and was super close to Nobunaga, right? And this wasn't just, like, Yasuke wasn't a slave in any, like, definition of the word. He continued to fight even after Nobunaga died. There is not very many written depictions of him. There was a few suspected depictions of him in art, but not much else. But yeah, like, he has been very sediment in Japanese history. So a lot of these grifters and like reactionaries and all this other shit, like coming out of the woodworks just to complain, literally, dude, just say you don't like black people in video games. It is way easier to say. Like, say it with your chest. Don't try and backpedal. Don't try and be like, oh, well, it's not historically accurate, or, oh, but it's not, time period's wrong, or, oh, why is it a girl? Like, it doesn't make sense. Or, like, dude, if you don't like it and you want it to be a white man, just say that. I mean, like, Black Flag was set in the Caribbean, and you played as a Welshman. Yes, that is technically historically accurate because pirates were English and pirates were everyone, right? But come on. This is the first time that we have played as somebody that is in a different, like, country that's not of the race of that country. It's crazy. Like, genuinely, just say that you don't like black people or that you're racist or whatever, and just move the fuck on, dude. Anyone that wants to argue with me in the chat or in the comments will just get the same response. It's so stupid. It is so stupid. I will be looking forward to playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, because I've been waiting a long time for it to be set in Japan. There was a small little thing that was set in Japan, but it was not a full-fledged game. It was not a full traditional third-person Assassin's Creed game, and I've been waiting for them to do something in Japan for a very, very long time. And I'm glad that they are using this not only to, by the way, female shinobi with a fucking katana. Seriously? If you want to talk about historically accurate, that's not accurate at all. Ninjas and shinobi didn't carry katanas. They used farm tools to infiltrate and do espionage, and they mostly used poison because they didn't want to cause a mess. The depiction of them having katanas was very wrong. They did get the color right. Navy blue, they did get the color right. But regardless, it's still going to be fun as fuck. And I can't wait to play it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. If you want to support me, have a catch up down below. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Click!